On to the next talk. So to introduce our next speaker is someone who has 13 years and counting combined experience in infrastructure and cybersecurity. He has led multiple projects from conceptualizing, designing, and up to implementation and testing of various security used by SOC for various industry verticals and sizes ranging from SMBs, banks, and conglomerates. So please, give a round of applause for speaker John Fritz Pamesa.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and good day to our people from the enterprise, the security practitioners, the hackers, ethical, maybe ethical or the unethical one. So I hope you guys have a productive, successful, and insightful days ahead. And I hope you're having a good time with this RootCon conference. So for this session, I will be sharing some insights about how AI how security or how your SOC or security operations can transform with the augmentation of artificial intelligence through your workflow as well as to your technology stack. But before I start, so allow me again to formally introduce myself. So I'm Fritz Pamesa, so the Service Engineering and Architecture Manager for Nexus Orion Managed Services. So I'm the one leading the group that performs the designing, the implementation, as well as supporting the different security controls that we are delivering and providing to the different customers that we have locally to augment them and to our security operations center as well as improve their cybersecurity posture. So I'm from Nexus Orion Managed Services, the managed services arm of Nexus Technology. So our core offering basically revolves around providing managed SOC services as well as red teaming operations. So for this session, so I have three objectives that I would like to share. So first is I want to highlight the challenges SOC are facing today in keeping up with the growing threat landscape and technologies. And then second, I want to give an idea what help can artificial intelligence do when it is augmented to the security operations. And lastly, so I want to show you how it will sit in between the technology, people, and process stacks, as well as share some measurable benefits that you can realize when you properly implemented or augmented your operations with artificial intelligence. So, before we go to the main content of this presentation or my presentation, let's have a look back first with the digital transformation. So digital transformation focuses on business process transformation from uh, uh, that revolutionizes the way that how business performs, transacts, and process information. So I will be sharing few notable events about digital transformation. So first, we have the digitalization era, in which focuses on moving from paper-based processing to computerized-based transactions. So in which businesses are leveraging softwares to perform information processing and do their business transactions. Second, we have Web 2.0. So Web 2.0 or the rise of web applications. So this is where the software, so from software or the tech clients that businesses are using, so it was moved now to, from tech client, it was moved to web services or web applications. So on this era, on this era, so it introduces flexibility, uniformity, better user experience, as well as the centralization of data. Then we have 3.0. So this is where the cloud adoption happens. So from the businesses maintaining their on-premise data centers, infrastructure. So they subscribed and they get the services of cloud services to move their services and operations to the cloud by using SaaS, PaaS, or IaaS. And then lastly, and the current trend or the current disruption on the market that we have right now is artificial intelligence and semantics. So, due to that growing concerns and growing landscape, as well as digital transformation and technological revolution, so I came across this Osterman research about the different operations mode of SOC. So I have two observations based from this chart. So the first observation is that the respondents or the SOCs are still envisioning to have a more proactive approach rather than reactive. So I want to highlight here or I want to emphasize here that they are still envisioning to become more proactive. So proactiveness is still a vision for them. And then most of the respondents are still doing reactive more than proactive. So meaning to say that these respondents or these security operation center samples that they have are still doing a lot of reactive tasks, repetitive tasks, in which they cannot dedicate a small fraction of their time to focus on a more proactive approach. So meaning to say, most of the SOC right now, especially on the samples that this research has, are still stuck in a rat race. So to expand more on that, or to expound more on that rat race, as well as the pain point of SOC, so I have created a spin-off of the threat actors pyramid of pain. So I believe most of you are familiar here with the threat actors pyramid of pain. So basically, it's a model that tells us how much pain is inflicted to threat actors when security control, security tools, as well as security operations center was able to prevent and respond to the IOCs and TTPs that they are using. So to fully understand and have an idea, what does it mean when the SOC is stuck in a rat race? So basically, these are their challenges. So we have the alert fatigue, manual and time-consuming triaging process, and longer time to contain. So with the alert fatigue, so they are monitoring a lot of log sources, a lot of rules, but very few actionable alerts or incidents. And then when they found a valid incident, so they are trying to, or they will be initiating a triage process. However, due to the manual correlations, manual enrichments, and manual context build-up, so the SOCs are having longer time to make a conclusion and decide and generate a verdict in which the measurable performance of SOC suffers as well in the form of longer time to contain. So the longer the investigation process, the more delayed the containment actions are executed. So these three are the or are mostly the repetitive tasks that the SOC is doing. And then when the SOC is trying to expand or trying to get out of this rat race, they are going to upscale their manpower. So, however, when it comes to upscaling, there's another problem when it comes to skill sets and manpower use shortage. So, uh, there are very few applicants, so the SOC resources are finite, very scarce. So there are very few applicants that possess the right or the proper skill sets, and then you need to develop them. It will take time, and then if you found someone that fits your requirements, so they might be asking an expensive salary that may be over your budget. So this is where the AI comes in. So artificial intelligence, again, is the capability of machine to stimulate and emulate human intelligence. So it can learn from data, it can summarize, it can make decisions, as well as it can perform tasks automatically. So there are multiple models that are notable for cybersecurity. So we have the narrow AI model. The narrow AI model is a purpose-built AI. So it is a siloed AI designed to perform specific tasks. So one good example here is machine learning. So machine learning is the earliest form of AI that was introduced to security controls. So in which it's been used to establish and create a baseline and determine what is normal to your environment. Then next, we have the generative AI. So the generative AI is the basically from the word itself. So it generates, it creates contents based from the prompts and and instructions that we are providing to it. So one example here is the very famous Chat GPT and Gemini AI. Then the most recent AI model that has been introduced to cybersecurity is the agentic AI. So the agentic AI is a model that can perform actions automatically. So such as extracting security artifacts, enriching IOCs, and executing response actions. Now, what makes a SOC AI? So basically, it's a combination of these two AI model. So the first one, generative AI, and then the second one is the agentic AI. So the uh, the items that are listed down in each are the different use cases these AI models are performing for the SOC AI. So generative AI helps create hypothesis generations and probing questions, as well as it helps the analyst or the data to become contextualized and summarized, as well as it helps the analyst to create narrative report and data exports that are human readable using its large language models. Then we have agentic AI. So agentic AI performs the cross-correlation, automated artifacts gathering across multiple data sources. It automates intelligence lookups and enrichments, as well as it performs or automates the response and containment actions execution. So this is how it would look like when you implement SOC AI to your environment. So if you can see the blue box here, this contains your IT assets, whether your customer IT assets, if you're an MSOC provider, or your enterprise IT assets, if you're an end user. So let's divide the IT assets into two. So we have the alert sources and we have the data sources. So alert sources are basically your detection tool, while your data sources are your enrichment tool. So it enriches the detection, such as threat intel, Active Directory, email services, and so on. So the data sources are used by the SOC AI to add additional context to the security detections that it is processing or it is investigating. So the alert source, again, is your detection source. So it feeds the SOC AI data lake. So all the alerts, depending on your criteria or depending on the classification that you want SOC AI to process, so it will send the alerts to the SOC AI. And within SOC AI, there are what we call AI analysts or AI agents. So these AI analysts and AR agents are the one waiting for queued alerts within the data lake of SOC AI platform. And then when there's an alert, so they will investigate it, they will enrich it, collect evidence automatically, and then they will output and generate initial conclusion provided to the level 2 and level 3 security operations center. So this conclusion generated by the L1 AI will be validated by the level 2 and level 3 SecOps. So if the conclusion is accurate, so they may proceed or they may execute the necessary response action that needs to be done. And if it's inaccurate, human SOC will also feed context to the AI to influence its decision making, influence its investigation outcome, as well as influence its analysis. And then this is how it would look like on the process perspective. So we have designed this framework. So ingest, hypothesize, enrich, analyze, conclude, and respond. So everything starts from a security alert. So an alert will be generated and will be triggered using your detection source. So on our setup, we are primarily using SIEM. And then, but you can also use your EDR, email security, firewalls, etc. But based on our architecture and design, as well as analysis, it would be better if the detection source that you're using is an SIEM because you are able to already tune your rules, you are able to already fine-tune the fidelity of the alerts that the SOC AI will be processing. And then once a security alert has been ingested and has been transmitted to the SOC AI platform, so the SOC AI will start to hypothesize. So by hypothesizing, so the SOC AI, depending on the incident classification, so it will strategize, it will plan out, and it will generate questions that it needs answer to complete the context of a security incident. So after creating that hypothesis, the SOC AI will now enrich the data. So based on the hypothesis that it has created, so it will start to automatically collect additional evidences. So it performs automatic queries to your SIEM. So let's say you want to query your firewall, you want to query or get logs from your firewall, your AD, your endpoint security, your email services. So SOC AI will do that automatically through its integration with your SIEM and other data sources. Then it automatically enrich IOCs. So rather than SOC doing the manual validation, manual checking on virus total, etc. So AI has multiple threat intelligence integrations that it uses to automatically enrich IOCs. Afterwards, the SOC AI will consolidate all the evidences to what it calls an evidence locker. So once all the evidences are consolidated and is stored to its evidence locker, so the SOC AI will start analyzing and investigating the collected evidence to come up with a conclusion and verdict. If it's malicious, if it's benign, and if there are further actions that needs to be made. Then after generating a conclusion, so that's where the execution of response action is made. However, during these last two steps, so for the conclusion and respond, this is where the human should always be kept in the loop. So this is where the human SecOps should intervene and should augment to the process of AI. So we cannot still trust AI that it will provide 100% accurate detections. So that's why we have the human SecOps or the human layer to validate the conclusion and analysis of the SOC AI is generating. Then again, if the conclusion is inaccurate, so the SOC AI will be fed with context enrichments to influence its to influence its investigation outcome. And then if the results are accurate, so the human SecOps can trigger the response actions. So the SOC AI does not perform the execution of containment and response actions immediately. So it needs a trigger or an approval of a human SOC before it can continue to perform the actions. So again, this is where the human SecOps needs to intervene when we're augmenting AI to our security workflow or operations workflow. So with that being said, SOC AI has very promising benefits. So the alert fatigue, manual time-consuming triaging process, longer time to contain, and skills and manpower shortage. Again, these are the common pain points of the SOC, why they are stuck in a rat race. So for traditional AI, anyway, the 5,000 security alerts is our actual number being a SOC provider. So for traditional SOC, we are processing on an average about 5,000 security alerts, and around 20% of those are only the one that is actionable and high value. Then with next gen or with next gen SOC or AI augmented SOC, the SOC AI, since it will do the initial triaging as well as it will do the initial uh, assessment or conclusion. So it will be able to help the SOC filter about around 50 to 80% low value incidents, allowing our L2 and L3 SOC to investigate on a more higher severity and actionable incidents. Then, when it comes to manual time-consuming and triaging process, so on an average, it takes 45 minutes to complete a full cycle of triage. So this includes the evidence collection, context build-up, and threat intelligence enrichment. So imagine if we are going to process 5,000 alerts, so that means 3,750 analyst hours are lost or are spent doing manual investigations only. So if my math is correct, so this will take around 20 to 22 FTEs. But with SOC AI, so the SOC AI will only spend around 2 to 5 minutes to perform cross-validation, threat intelligence, enrichment, and it can generate conclusions at about 8 to 12 minutes only. So that's times, that's savings for analyst time. That's about 20 to 30 minutes investigation time. Then the longer time taken to contain, so depending on the engagement model that we have with our security operation setup, so some might take an hour or two before the initial containment is performed. It may be because due to the approval needed, or it may be because due to the dependability or dependency to the asset owner. But with SOC AI, so containment execution can be performed in near real time as long as the conclusion has been validated and validated that it is accurate by the human analyst. So with SOC AI, the SOC will no longer need to log in manually to the security controls, configure policies, trigger host containment. So it will just become a trigger of a button within the SOC AI console. And then when it comes to skills and manpower shortage, uh, in most cases, around 4 to 6 L1 analysts are being added or hired per year. But with SOC AI focusing on the L1 task, adding adding L1 FTEs can be reduced, and we can put more time on developing our security strategies. We can put more time doing proactive tasks for our SOC. So another study or case study that I have seen or that I have observed. And this correlates actually to the benefits or the promised benefits, the SOC AI that I've shown earlier. So this came from one of the SOC AI provider, and they conducted an actual case study with their existing implementation of SOC AI. So the first observation here is that on the green box, you can see here the detection engineering, proactive threat hunting, log source onboarding, remediation. Most of these tasks are proactive tasks. And as you can see, human analysts are still performing better than AI. And then the blue box is actually where you can see the value realized for having a SOC AI. So it correlates with the benefits promised by the SOC AI that it will uh, it will help improve and help decrease the investigation time it will take to come up with a conclusion. So lastly, and on my final note, so I would like to leave these three statements here. So again, the SOC resources are finite. So as threat keeps evolving and the environment keeps on growing, so the traditional SOC may struggle to keep up with the pace and to keep up with upscaling. And then to battle the common misconception, so it's time to adopt AI in SOC. So rather than relying solely on hiring, developing, outsourcing enterprises, and MSP should also consider SOC or AI augmentation as a strategic investment to build resiliency and efficiency within their SecOps process. And lastly, so AI does not replace the people, it strengthens it. And AI also does not replace your detection source. So it uses it to enrich and it uses it to have something that it needs, to have some information that it needs to process when it tries to investigate an incident. So particularly, AI will help again in level 1 triage. So this means that your SOC, the human SOC, can put more focus on developing your playbook, your security operations strategy, as well as do detection engineering to build a more proactive operation mode approach of security operation. And actually, that's it. So again, if you have any questions, clarification, so and if you bump me around somewhere, so just feel free to ask, or you can drop by to our booth as well, located at the right side of this area. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Fritz. God, I forgot to give you a drink. Drink, yeah, you could still drink. You could still drink. I forgot to give you a drink. So while you guys are thinking of your questions, I'll give this guy a good drink. Tradition, tradition. We gotta stick with tradition. Good. Great talk. Yeah. Thank you so much.